Today, we are going to break down one of the most powerful communication hacks out there. It's called the 2-second clarity pause. And trust me, it's a super simple technique that top leaders use to absolutely master communication, especially when the pressure is on.
You know that feeling, right? You're in a big meeting, maybe a job interview, or heck, just talking to a friend, and someone hits you with a question that puts you on the spot. And just like that, your mind goes completely blank. It's like a wall just goes up. It's a universal feeling, and it is incredibly frustrating. Now, what's so interesting here is that this isn't some kind of personal failure. It's not you. It's actually a hardwired biological response. But here's the good news. There is a proven way to bypass this mental roadblock. It's a little secret that the world's most influential speakers use to stay sharp and articulate no matter what's thrown at them.
So first, let's really get into what's going on during this mind freeze. I mean, why does our brain, this incredible supercomputer, decide to just shut down at the worst possible moments?
Okay, think about it like this. If I ask you for your best friend's name, you've got it in a split second, right? But what if I ask you for 3 qualities that make them such a good friend? You'll probably pause for a second. The information is all there in your head, but the pressure of a slightly more complex, unexpected question just makes it harder to pull out.
So, what is actually happening inside our brains at that moment? Well, it turns out there's a very specific scientific reason for that mental roadblock we all feel.
And this right here is the crucial part. When you're put on the spot, your brain can actually perceive it as a threat. This flips a switch, a trigger point that just floods your memory with a ton of different conflicting thoughts all at once. So it's not that you have no thoughts, it's that you have way too many, and your brain gets stuck in the chaos, unable to pick the right one.
And what makes this even trickier is this fundamental mismatch. Our brains think so much faster than our mouths can actually speak. That memory overload, that traffic jam of thoughts happens in a split second, way before we've even had a chance to say a single word. Understanding this speed gap is the absolute key to finding the solution.
So how do we fix this? How do we get out of our own way? Well, this brings us to the core of this whole explainer, a simple, almost counterintuitive technique that the world's most effective communicators have totally mastered. It's this: 2 seconds. That's it. Instead of rushing to blurt out an answer, the most poised and confident speakers in the world intentionally take a 2-second pause. Now, to you, it might feel like an eternity, but to your audience, it looks like thoughtfulness, control, and confidence.
So why is this little pause so effective? Well, first, that 2-second gap closes the divide between how fast you think and how fast you speak. It gives your conscious mind just enough time to sift through that chaotic memory overload, pick out the single best thought, and then deliver it clearly. And it's not just a theory. Research actually confirms that speakers who use these strategic pauses are seen as way more skilled and competent.
Okay, so you've taken your 2-second pause. Awesome. But what do you do in those 2 seconds? Well, your brain needs a quick mental model, like a blueprint, to organize your thoughts. We're going to cover 2 incredibly effective frameworks that you can use in that tiny window of time.
The first one is the Harvard-backed 3-2-1 rule. This is perfect for when you need to give a really thoughtful, comprehensive answer. In your 2-second pause, you just think, what are my 3 main points? What are 2 quick examples? And what's my 1 closing thought? It gives you an instant, impressive structure for your answer.
Now, for those moments when you need to be more concise and authoritative, you're going to want to use the PRE strategy. You state your point, give the reason for it, and offer a quick example. So, for instance, mobile addiction is a growing problem. That's the point, because it distracts us from our goals. That's the reason. Like a student losing focus because they're scrolling social media, and that's the example. It's simple, powerful, and really easy to remember.
So, how do you know which one to pick? It's really simple. If the situation calls for a more detailed, fleshed-out response, go with the 3-2-1 rule. But if you need to make a sharp, authoritative point and move on, the PRE strategy is definitely your best bet.
All right, having the right words is a huge deal, but it's only half the battle. Your delivery, your nonverbal cues can totally make or break your credibility. Just look at the difference here. On the left, you see that low confidence posture, shoulders slumped, kind of closed off. And on the right, a power posture. The difference is immediate, right? But here's the kicker. The posture on the right doesn't just look more confident to other people. It literally makes you feel more confident too.
So here are 2 killer delivery hacks for you. First, the power posture. Always try to keep your spine straight and your hands visible. Hiding your hands can be a subconscious signal of distrust, so keeping them out in the open projects confidence.
Second, if you're talking to a group, use the triangle eye method. Don't just stare at one person. Shift your gaze from someone on the left to someone on the right and then to someone in the center. It's a simple pattern that makes everyone in the room feel like you're talking directly to them.
Look, knowing all this stuff is great, but turning it from just knowledge into an automatic skill, well, that takes a little practice. So I've got a simple challenge for you to lock in all these techniques.
It's called the pressure immunity drill. It's easy. For the next 7 days, just take 1 minute, 60 seconds, and record yourself on your phone talking about a totally random topic. It could be sugar, or travel, or dogs, anything. Practice the pause, try out one of the frameworks, and stand in a power posture. This little drill will train your brain to perform under that manufactured stress, so when the real pressure hits, you're ready.
It all comes down to this quote: "Communication is the greatest tool of influence you can own, and learning to explain your knowledge is more important than the knowledge itself." And that's why all this matters so much. It's not just about what you know, it's about your ability to share it clearly and confidently. Mastering communication is the ultimate lever for influence in every single part of your life.
So, the only question left is, are you ready to put an end to the brain freeze, to master the pause, and to start speaking with the clarity and confidence you've always wanted? Are you ready to own the room?